You ready? Alright. Look, dog, I'm extra unique. My whole aura screen telling it.
Season 2, underrated podcast, Shannon Shorter.
I'm Dunlap Sr. We're joined, of course, with the multi-talented AJ McQueen, originated in St. Louis, but you've been in Texas for a minute now.
Yeah.
And one thing we just jump it off with, in what ways maybe have you felt underrated throughout your life, throughout your journey, that you maybe felt underrated?
I think I underrated myself. When I look at my life, I think that I underestimated me. You know what I mean? Like I held myself, you know what I'm saying, to a lower standard or a lower idea. So now we don't do that no more.
One of the things that I see you speak about, especially in your region project, is when you look in the mirror and seeing a child in you, and you talk about having the God in you. What does that mean for you? Because for me personally, to tie it in, and on my road to quote unquote consciousness, finding out different things about myself and identifying with different things apart from I am versus what was indoctrinated into me as far as this country, it began to make me feel different ways. For you, I see the rings, I see the gold, I see the locks, and I hear the music, and especially in this last project that you just dropped. What does that mean to you when you say you look in the mirror and you see the child in you or the God in you, and that's helping direct you throughout your journey now?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of us are taught that God is abstracted from us. You know what I mean? Like, and we gotta climb to Him, or we gotta talk to somebody. They gotta talk to somebody. They gotta talk to somebody. They gotta talk to somebody. You know what I mean? And I just came to the realization, that God is in us. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is not above us. God is in us. God is in our body. You know what I mean? Because what is above? What is the concept of above? You know what I mean? Like, so that's where that comes from. Just God being in our body, and we have the source within us. And therefore we become the source. You know what I mean? So and then as far as the inner child, even the good book, the Bible says that unless we be like children, we won't even see Him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you started in St. Louis. You moved to A-Leaf because you went through a real situation. Mm-hmm. But I just want to want you to take us back to 1515 Oak Street. I think that was your grandma crib, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, from just listening to your music, I'm trying to tap in a little bit. So just take us back there, where it all started for you, how that journey through life transitioned you to where you standing now.
For sure. Before I even came to Houston, you hear me? I'm from Wilson, bro. I'm from 6400 Wilson, and 6400 is every address within this radius. It starts with a 64, so 64, 24, 64, 74, what have you. So my grandmother's house is literally on the same street, but just around the corner from my mom, you know what I mean? So, and so I grew up in that same area in between. But the reason why 1515 Oak Grove is important, because especially where I'm from, when it comes down to like gang politics or just being in the hood, it ain't about where your mama stays, it's about where your grandma stay. You know what I mean? Because that tells a little bit more about how you bred it, like what your texture like when your grandma, you know what I'm saying? Because my grandma is bred into that community. So in my grandma's house, it was just a safe haven, man. I grew up being abused, you know what I mean? Like my mom's boyfriend was very abusive, you heard me? Like I'm talking about, he was a monster. You know what I'm saying? I hated this man, you know what I mean? Like I hated him, you know what I mean? Tried to kill him twice, and it never worked, and I thank God for it. But my grandma's house was that safe haven, but also was just a mutual ground. You know what I mean? Like most grannies, if you got a granny's house is more of a mutual ground. You know what I'm saying? For all of the craziness. You know what I mean? Like, so my grandma's house was safe haven.
You jumped off the porch early. Jumped down with the Bloods, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so, why did that? Why did you feel the need to do that?
Well, that's the thing. I think it's a big misconception. Like, I wouldn't say I jumped off the porch. You know what I mean? Like, I was born on the porch, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was,
Born into it, right?
Yeah,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm literally where I'm at. My address is how I even got in this. You know what I mean? I remember when I was like, I think I was 11, and I was walking from school because I went to Bishop Middle School in Wilson, and I was walking through the alley, and it was these two dudes. You heard me? And this the first time I ever heard a question like this, and they were like, they came up with me all aggressive, like, and it was like, nigga, where you from? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm from Wilson. You know what I'm saying? They're like, who your people? I got jumped that day. You know what I'm saying? And from that day forth, I went back to the yard, and I'm speaking to my family, my cousin in particular, and I told him what happened, and then he indoctrinated me. You know what I'm saying? Well, prior to that, I ain't signed up to be violent. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's just a big misconception. Like, I don't know why we connect hood and even gang culture with violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the case. Like, you know, when I was active, I had OGs. You know what I mean? Like, people that told me, like, you know, the right and the wrong way to do these things. So, it was never meant. It was not on no violence stuff. I didn't know that. I know that it was a negative connotation with it until something happened to me. So I was met with violence. I didn't even know that we was doing something wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, until I'm in a shootout, I'm like, wow, like, what is going on? Now, I've always been I've always questioned everything. That's worked to I feel like that has been the piece of the greatness or the supremacy of whatever it is that God blessed me with. It's not my answers, it's my questions, bro. You heard me? Like, a lot of people think that it's not about having all the answers, but it's not about having great answers, it's about having great questions. That is where success comes from.
Staying back during your time in St. Louis and during your upbringing, what was your introduction to spirituality or even religion during those times when you was going through? You were raised by primarily your mother, and you said was stepfather. Would you characterize the boyfriend that was abused? What was your foundation like in the realm of spirituality or religion?
Yeah, I do want to add in that question. My dad was there. You know what I'm saying? And I know I understand why you asked me that way, but like a lot of times us as black men, as the youth, like we got to start doing better with including our dads. Your dad may not have been there where you wanted him to, but he was there somewhere. And I think that when we tell a story, we don't mean to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's when we can't compare him to mom, so we ain't gonna bring dude up. Yeah. But nah, he was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had his own demons, but to answer your question, my mom primarily with my dad. You know what I'm saying, as well. But my mom's boyfriend is where I was at, though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And that's in a whole other hood in St. Louis. So I was in Baden. Baden is where Crips, GDs, all that. And Wilson is like Bloods, BDs, all that. So, and I got shot in Baden. I didn't get shot in Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So, but when it comes to spirituality, I was taught nationality first, bro. Like, I wasn't taught spirituality. You heard me? And I actually encourage, I actually support that. Rather, I support being taught who you are instead before being taught what to believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because it becomes a compass for you then. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up seeing like black Adam and Eves, and you know the Passover picture. You heard me? The early black family I had, where Jesus looked like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up seeing that first, and then and then I was taught nationality. My uncle did 30 years in the pen, and he would call from the pen, talk to my mama, and then ask her where I was at. You know what I'm saying? And then he would tell me about Noble Drew Ali. He tell me that you ain't colored, you ain't a nigga, you ain't this, you a god, you a this, you a that. You hear me? Like, my uncle's supreme mathematics. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying, big 5%. You know what I mean? But now when I got sent away, all that got whitewashed. And I say whitewashed not in the sense of like white as a race, but just whitewashed as a color. When you say sent away, you say because I got sent. I got sent away. It wasn't even. And I got shot my bird, like, you leaving.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even, I couldn't prepare. You hear me? Like, so when I popped up in A-Leaf, I'm just hurt, like, out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I'm fighting through everything, like, in real time. Like, I was wrapped up. I wasn't even healed from getting shot yet. I was on crutches, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I walk around high school confused, abandoned, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel, you know, this before Instagram, before Facebook. I ain't had no cell phone.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to nobody.
So who did you stay with in A-Leaf?
So
Miss Johnson?
Miss Johnson, yeah, that's the first family. I stayed with 6 families. That's the first one. You know what I mean? Okay. And the only reason I stayed with them is because I was in Houston for 2 years when I was 8.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people think that my Houston journey starts when I came here after getting shot, but it didn't. I came here when I was 8. I was here for 2 years. I went to Miller Intermediate, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so I was here, I thought we was just visiting, but as I got older, I realized we been running from my boyfriend. So, you know what I'm saying? So when I was here, I met 2 people. When I say met, I met a lot of people, but I only became connected with 2 people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was a guy named Darrell, and it was somebody else I want to name. So Darrell, that's Miss Johnson's mom. Okay. So by the time fast forward when I got shot, my mama had called Miss Johnson and was like, hey, can AJ come visit? It was just like she played her. I ain't gonna hold you. Oh my gosh, she played her. You know, so she was like, can he come visit? And she was like, yeah. Man, I got off the airplane. I was a whole different person than the little 10-year-old. Yeah. You hear me? Like, I was a grown man. Yeah. Even though I was 15, because the streets grow you up fast. Like that trauma, you know what I mean? Like that trauma will grow you up fast. So my posture was different. I didn't have that youthfulness. You hear me? Like I wasn't playing. I'm listening to Pac fresh off the. You heard me? With CD player on. I got Pac on right here, and I had twisties, you know, because that's when I was starting my locks. But they made me cut them. You know what I'm saying? But I was already starting my locks when I came out. Yeah. So and I went to the Johnsons, man, and right there in the car. Hey, Mr. Johnson was there at the time. I don't talk about him a lot because he left Miss Johnson. But he that was the first man that I really respected. You heard me? Like, and he like, listen, you take that CD player off, you're gonna pull your pants up, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna eat at the table like this, you're gonna make your bed like this, like that, you know what I'm saying?
Certain principles he put in.
Discipline.
Yeah. Certain discipline, certain ways of thinking.
But this is the big misconception about this story that I always try to explain whenever I'm asked. I was here before I got shot. So the summer that I got shot, my mama had already sent me her to visit. This before I got shot though, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't just get shot randomly. It was stuff leading up to it. You know, people calling the phone, hanging up, people threatening me, threatening my bird, threatening everybody. And St. Louis, that's not game. That's not no plan. Really? So my mama called me. She like, you need to leave for the summer because in St. Louis, the summer is when everybody's trying to get ranked. You hear me? So she like, you need to leave. She called me Johnson, asked me, Johnson, can I visit? Yeah. I get her, Mr. Johnson, it's like, you know, all they going to church every Sunday, bro. It was word, you know what I mean? So I start beefing with all of them. I'm like a hellion at this point, you know what I'm saying? And I get into an argument with Miss Johnson, and after I called my bird, she was like, I said, Mom, I want to come home. She was like, okay, cool. So she got me a train ticket, because I commuted by train. We couldn't afford no planes, you hear me, at that time. So I'm on the Amtrak. And the day I was gonna leave, my Miss Johnson came to me and she was crying. She was crying. I'm talking about like tears in her eyes. She said, "Don't go." I was in prayer. God showed me a vision that you was gonna get, that you was beating on my door, and I opened the door. You had bullet holes in your back, and I was like, you know, I ain't believe in God at that time. Not on that level to where I can take heed to that. I left Houston. You hear me? I went home to St. Louis. I got shot in 2 days. My mama sent me back. So it wasn't, you know, and it's easier just to say, oh, you got shot, you accept Houston. Sometimes I let people just say it like that because for the sake of time. But I was here already. I was prophesied to, bro. I was told that I was gonna get shot. And Miss Johnson, has been verifying this story forever, ever since I told her on BT 106 in Park. Because people have asked, like, nah, I ain't had it happen. Yeah. She told me I was gonna get shot.
I was listening to an interview of you and I heard you say, I was gonna ask you about that. I'm glad you spoke on that because that's like, I heard you say in one of your songs, you said, when you got shot, I believe, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but I believe you said that's the first time you heard God on your back.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, that's the first time I felt small. Like prior to that, man, because I'm a Leo, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like prior to that, like, and for those that understand, like, you know, the whole zodiac energy, but like I've always been confident. You know what I'm saying? And I've always just felt like big, like not like in height, but like just big. Like I've never cared about none of that other stuff. Even as a youth, I would fight your big homie. Yo, big homie, 6'5", I'm fighting him. Like I've never felt small, bro. When I got shot, bro, it wasn't just the bullet holes that like, you know, that hurt me. It was I've never felt like this small. And when you grew up in an abusive household, what happens inadvertently is the moment that you able to get your power back, you just become a menace, man. Like you heard me, everybody like getting the effects of that trauma.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I got shot, bro, I was laying there, and I didn't even want to accept I got shot. That's how crazy getting shot is. Like the adrenaline, everybody was telling me I got shot before I realized it. And I was like, nah, ain't nobody gonna shoot me. I'll never forget. I'm sitting there talking to them while they looking at, man, while I'm shot, bro. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna shoot me.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And then when all that adrenaline ran out, bro, I fell on the porch. And then I was laying on my back, bro, for 45 minutes, bro.
You know what's crazy is PJ told me the other day, he was like, yo, like, AJ went away and came back and had holes in his body. He showed me the holes.
Yep.
And so for you to like basically give us a synopsis of the timeline of events and him saying what he said is just like, that's wild.
I walked around high school and I had already been through a lot of the stuff that unfortunately some of like my peers were going towards. You know what I'm saying? Like in high school, I saw people go towards gang culture. I saw people that died. Like in freshman year, I'm telling them like, hey, like I'm the big homie. You know what I'm saying? Like. And I tried everything else, especially in high school. Like I used to worship basketball. I used to love playing basketball. I mean, when I tried out for the basketball team at Hastings, I couldn't pass the physical. I got damaged cartilage, bro. The bullets ripped. They went through my body, ripped across all that. I'm damaged. Yeah. So I couldn't even pass my physical. I couldn't play sports. You know what I mean? So, and looking back on the retrospect, it's the best thing that happened to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at that time,
why do you say that?
Because, bro, like, my nature is I'm a very persistent person, bro. If I wanted to be the best in something, there's nothing and nobody that I would have honed in on that to where none of my other gifts would have even been activated. I would never found them. Yeah. I would never found it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I love. That's how I am with things now, with the music stuff. How I would have been with. Am I saying I would have been Michael Jordan? Yeah. I would have been somebody, bro. I would have been something. There's no way, bro. Work ethic crazy, bro. I would have worshipped it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch Michael Jordan tapes back to back. I'm talking about VHS cassette tapes back to back, saying when it's gonna be me. Then I get shot, and it's like nah. And so I had to go deeper inside myself, bro. That's where the writing came from. That's where the music and the oratory skills of talking. Yeah. Because in high school, even in college, I'm talking. Because I couldn't. What else I'm supposed to do? And the respect factor came from people that like real recognize real. Yeah. I've never been disrespected in my face by a man, bro. Like I'm not saying it on some macho stuff. I don't have that energy. Yeah, you don't get that energy. Real people, like the real ones, respect that, and I thank God for that. Like, you know, I've never been in that situation where somebody is like challenging my wisdom or something, because that's the only thing I'm speaking. Like I was ahead of my years in high school, so I wasn't, you know, I wasn't in high school doing what everybody else was doing. Not saying I was better. Yeah. It's just trauma had pushed me forward to where you weren't gonna find me in no gossip circle. You weren't gonna find me, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna see me off doing some other stuff, and that's how I ended up on BET at 19.
Well, you said some things that I think that's important to distinct, especially when you were in St. Louis. You said you grew up seeing the Black Moses, Black Jesus, but you said, I want to make sure I'm correct on this. When you came to Texas, you seen where you started seeing the white.
First time I ever saw it, and I knew it was wrong though.
And I think it's important to distinct because me and Shannon was raised here in Texas, and I'm aware of the white supremacist system and how they intentionally indoctrinate and not allow us to see ourselves and know ourselves that we are the first who created civilizations. We are the gods, and I think that's intentional. And so I preface that by asking you, I think that's a good foundation for you personally, in my opinion, to have that and then come and see the opposite of that. And to me, as I observe it and as we connecting, I think, and I want your perspective, it was that part of you finding your identity, going back to that. Now I'm learning the God in me. I'm learning these different things, and that's helping you in different ways to express yourself, like you're saying, with poetic, with artists. So that's kind of common on my question.
No, for sure. That definitely. I mean, again, it ain't about having answers, it's about having the questions. I had the question before I had the answer. I knew that something was wrong. So even in the religious ecosystem that I was in, because 6 families, 4 of them were Christians. Four of those families. I'm talking about like. So I would be the one that would read it in that mug. I'm hearing it, and I'm like, something missing. Not saying that your doctrine is wrong, but it's a part of this story. It's part of this that you're not that's not being said. You know what I mean? And it could be ignorance, or it could be or it could just be you going around it for sure. So me having the questions helped me identify, you know what I'm saying, like who I am. You know what I mean? Like who I knew that Jesus or Selassie or Noble Drew Ali or, you know what I'm saying, Muhammad, I know we look like each other. You know what I'm saying? I know that. I know that that our shades are close to each other than they are apart. So then I would start looking within myself, and I'm like, okay, we were taught to believe in ourselves, and belief is cool, don't get me wrong, like belief is dope, but why is belief the ceiling though? Like, you know, I used to believe in myself, now I know myself, because you only believe because you don't know. You don't use the word belief in something that you know, because belief is really doubt. You only saying believe because you can't prove it. Right. You know, prior to this, we probably like, yeah, I believe we're gonna do the interview. I believe we're gonna do it. Now I know you wouldn't even use that word. It'd be crazy to use the word believe now. So it's like, so when it comes down to knowing yourself and knowing God, like why is belief? Why do we hold on to that so much? You know what I mean? And if you don't know it, I think that there should be a journey. So that's where the journey of self-knowledge and stuff goes to. You know, I don't have a God complex though. I know I bleed. So I'm not out here saying that, you know, I'm savior or nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I do believe that, you know what I'm saying, and not only do I believe, I know that God is in our body though, and I know that everything that we have within us is everything that we need, especially as black men. Sometimes we don't adopt that a lot because, you know, this patriarchal system, this white patriarchal system, you know, puts us in a weird spot, you know what I mean? And when we look at a lot of our leaders that have gotten to that place of self-knowledge, you know what I'm saying, they all got killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they all got killed prior to that. You know what I mean? They all got killed prior to being able to really digest the message and communicate it back. And so my prayer, and I think the Most High for my journey, I think the Most High for my team, and just I pray that I'm able to see my whole journey out. All in my 20s, I was in politics. So when people hear the music, it's because I did politics for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? State of the Union, community organizing, I protest rally for Trayvon, Senator Bland, Breonna Taylor. I'm talking about outside, like outside with everybody, with the Panthers. You know what I mean? So I just don't do that for my activism no more. But all that is what makes the music and everything sound rich.
I heard you say that you was like literally, I believe in the interview some months ago, you said that the music just really started 2 years ago.
Like
because
fully.
you was doing the activism, you was giving out the free food,
Yeah.
you was doing the writer's block, you was doing all these things for the people.
Yeah.
So when did it turn for you? Like what shifted to say, okay, let me jump down and lock in on this 1,000%? Because you spoke on how competitive you are, and when you want to do something, you gonna go all out because you know of your confidence.
Yeah, that, honestly, bro, like I don't know. I can't really pinpoint a specific time or you know, but I will say that around like 30, you know what I'm saying, 31, I started questioning a lot of like what I was doing, you know what I'm saying. In activism, I lost a lot of homies, a lot of my friends, especially in St. Louis, you know, because St. Louis is ground zero.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Brown died, everybody's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't taking this no more, man. We started some different type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, in ground zero. But a lot of them are dead. You know what I mean? A lot of them died, and I was out there. I was with them. You know what I mean? So that, along with you know being in these rooms, you know, I was at the State Union address with Barack and Michelle. I got a congressional certificate from Congress at my graduation. My old day in the city of Houston from the mayor. Certificate of Service Achievement Award from Barack Obama. And I'm in these rooms, and I'm realizing, and I worked very close with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm talking about like that's who
I seen that.
Like I'm talking about like that was like my grandma. You know what I'm saying? To me, like we was locked in. And I'm with her, and I'm seeing this stuff, but I'm questioning all of it. Again, let's go back to questions. I'm like, well, something missing here. It's something that's happening. And what I realize is that that's a system. And individual activism, as much as I felt like, you know, I was doing the right things and I was really affecting change, you got to build a system.
Yeah.
A system can only begot a system. You can't. You know, you gotta build a system, infiltrate it, and implode it. Exploding something that you're not in is crazy. So I need to build a system now. And so I start to look at my assets and what I have and who I am. And music, I've always had the ability to articulate myself. I think that's a gift from God, bro. Like articulation is a gift, to be able to take a thought and stretch it out and communicate it and make sure everybody understands, from the aliens down to the slums.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I realized that, I'm like, oh, okay. And then mix that with just my hurt, bro. Like I went out, you know, a lot of stuff happened to me where my mental health was in shambles.
Okay.
Mental health was in shambles. And I was gonna crash out, I was gonna grab a pen. You know what I'm saying? So I like to make it sound more deeper than what it is, but like, nah, like I had reached a point in my life where I was either gonna crash out or write it out. And I decided to write it out, and writing it turned into all of that. I was just bleeding online though. Like you know what I'm saying? The album is just me bleeding, some of it, you know what I mean? It's just me bleeding out loud, bro. And that's how it all, I didn't know that it would even do everything that's done. You know what I'm saying? Because I balanced the competitiveness with knowing it's my purpose, and I don't never want to like, you know, be so competitive to where I can't hurt God no more. You know what I mean? So I would have to like get pulled back. You know what I mean? Because I want to be purposeful, bro. Like, so I started rapping. Then you heard some of the older EPs. You heard Go This. You heard. And the Go This was me just showing lyrical ability, but I didn't feel like I was working my way to where I'm at now, though. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it started, man. Just bleeding out loud. You know, my mental health started to slip after losing my dad, after losing relationships, and just different things in my life. Homelessness, losing friends, all type of stuff. My mental health started to slip. That's all I wrote about.
I'm glad you mentioned mental health, because I also saw you reference therapy and taking therapy. What's the importance of mental health, especially as black men, something we don't just talk about when we just chopping it up on the regular. And how are you, bro, checking in? Yeah. How important is that for you, for your journey, as you can not only create and speak, but for yourself within that, helping you heal and continue to grow and also create. Because like you're saying, within that, you knowing yourself, you creating, you living from your experiences, the activism, politics, and now kind of being here, I'm hearing it in the music now. So it's good to see it in the flesh. But how is that?
Yeah, bro. There's a book that I highly recommend. The book changed my life, man. It's called What Happened to You, and it's by Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. And the preface, you know, it's just about like a lot of us ask each other what's wrong, but it's not what's wrong, it's what happened. You know what I mean? Like what happened? And the book just it's more of it's a different approach to like fetal trauma and just all the different traumas that we deal with. You know what I mean? Like what I went through growing up is what a lot of people don't deal with in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. There's no VA for me. You know what I'm saying? There's no programs for gang members. You know what I mean, to help them. Like when I got shot, they was gonna drop me off at the same spot I got shot in. If nobody came and got me, and took me somewhere else, they was gonna drop me back off. Cause where are they gonna take you?
On the album, what you say? They want to go to church. I don't need church. I need therapy.
I need therapy. Yeah. So, but you know, in our communities, especially I was growing up, like therapy is so taboo. Mental health is so taboo. You heard me? I could never fix my find the words to say, yeah, I'm depressed. I would've got slapped, bro. Like, you what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to process my emotions. Nigga, what? Man, you better get out. You better get out there and get out. Like, there ain't no process no more. So as you know, you get older. That's why I do think that while we a lot of people complain about the world and the advancement of the world and the changes of the world. One of the best things we started doing was having access to information. So that book, What Happened to You, really changed my life. It helped me see the world differently, and it's something that I communicate through my music a lot. You know what I'm saying? And just really checking in with yourself, man. Like, I think that emotional intelligence is becoming a thing for us in our communities, and I'm happy for us. Sometimes we weaponize stuff that we don't understand. So I try to debunk the weaponization of it in my music by talking about it in a creative way. But nah, bro, like I am the most clear. You hear me? I'm the most at peace that I've ever been. And that's a good one. When people think at peace, they compliment peace, you can't know peace until you know war, because you wouldn't even know what peace is. Mm-hmm. How do we know peace in America? It's because we know what war look like, because we compare it to the other stuff. Yeah. So when you compliment somebody's peace, keep in mind the war that they fought through to get there. You hear me? So if my energy is peaceful, it's because at one point in time, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was a warhead, bro. I was a warhead, and I was at war with myself, and I was at war with everybody. I used to blame people for where I'm at. It's nobody's fault. And the biggest thing that I accepted in my life, the most life-changing thing, is nobody's coming to save you. Amen. And I know what we taught. I get it. And I'm not talking about in a faith afterlife conversation. I'm not speaking on that. I believe in redemption, and I believe in the gospel. So I want to be clear. But in this world, in this thing we call life, nobody's coming to save you, dog. You heard me? So you have to save yourself. You have to liberate yourself. You have to emancipate yourself. And once I realized that, I'm like, okay, what do I have to help me liberate myself? This gift, that gift, that gift, that gift, that gift. Oh, I bet I'm finna use all of it. And I'm in a whole different place, and that's why I try to communicate to my brethren and my sister. And if I could do it, you can too.
Obviously, this was a journey, and so like this probably like a twofold question, right? So like, you big on like writing? Is that I'm big on like having conversations with myself, because I feel like them conversations with yourself are like the most powerful conversations you can have, because you know you better than anybody else, right? And I always preface my statement when I say that, because I always go back to the prodigal son when he was in the pig pen. Right, it was nobody around when he made that statement about his father and how he asked for forgiveness and etc. He was saying that to himself. Mm-hmm. So I say that to say you was engaged at 19, married at 19.
I was married at 19.
Engaged at 23, 23, 24, I believe, and engaged at 27, right? So how did after those situations unfolded, how did them conversations go to where it got you to where you are now, where you say, I'm at peace, I'm at the most peace I've ever been in my life? I feel like you had to go through that too, like you said, war and peace.
That's a great question. I ain't never been asked like that. Yeah, man, at one point, I was attempting, like once I got to my own again, let's go back to a trauma response. My trauma response was, okay, I grew up in a broken home. Okay, cool. Bet. I grew up seeing my mom be abused. Bet. I'm gonna do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? It just immediately like went into like, nah, like I'm finna not repeat none of that.
Right.
It's a trauma response though. Because I never took time to really process and step back, you know, from my life. I just kept going into it. So a lot of people talk about love, but they don't talk about lovelessness. Lovelessness is just as important as love, you know what I'm saying? Because while you try to process love, you got to process lovelessness. You've experienced lovelessness before. Yeah, and the remedy may be, okay, well, I'm just going to go find love. Nah. You've experienced lovelessness, you know what I'm saying? You know, and then one of my favorite books, Bell Hooks, All About Love, she uses Enriched Form's definition of love, and she says, love is like if we all come to one consensus of one definition of what love is, because we all got too many definitions, then I think that's why we fail at it. But if, let's say, for the sake of the conversation, we pick one definition. Love is to care for somebody's spiritual growth. Love is to nurture somebody's spiritual growth. So if that's the case, if we accept that definition, you ask yourself, have you ever been loved before? And have you ever loved before? And when we really think about that, some of us will be like, hey, I never loved. Some may feel like, yeah, but some are like, no, I definitely nurtured somebody's spiritual growth. But a lot of it is not that. Bro, I went from relationship, experiencing lovelessness the whole time. And I projected it as well, though. And this not me, I'm not holding nobody in contempt. This is not me speaking on their parts of it. I'm just don't talk about myself.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I experienced lovelessness, and I was trying so hard. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where I'm accepting things that's not even my task. I shouldn't even be doing that. You heard me? I was a virgin when I got married, bro.
Yeah.
I was 19 years old. I held a gun before I held a woman, bro. You hear me? I got shot before I had sex. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, cool. I know. And again, lovelessness needs to be processed. I ain't never had no Birds on the Beach talk. I ain't know none of that. I seen a bullet before I even realized, you know what I'm saying, like anything about relationships. So and nobody helped me process my lovelessness. So now I'm running. Really, and I'm running to what I'm thinking I'm running to love, but I'm really just running to lovelessness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a man, add lovelessness with lack of self-discipline, lack of self-control. You know what I'm saying? I was told I had daddy issues. I really had mama issues the whole time. You know what I mean? Mix that up, you gonna hurt yourself and a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I just went through a relationship, bro, and thinking that this was it, and it would always end the same exact way. And it wasn't them, it was me, bro. And coming to that conclusion, coming to that realization is so hard, because you want to think about all of the things and all of the things you've done and all of what you are. It's an energy. It ain't got nothing to do with the people. The good book said we don't fight against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers, rules of high darkness, bro. I was fighting against spirits. You know what I'm saying? So the only way I processed all that was writing, bro. I wrote through every relationship. I have journals from 2006. I got a journal on my table at the yard from 2006, bro. You heard me? Of me writing my thoughts down. Some of my marriage, I'm writing down stuff. And it was important that I processed it before I kept doing it. And that led me to my most recent relationship, where I because I went from that I was married. Then I said, okay, cool. I know what the problem is. This monogamy. I went to polyamory. I'm like, okay, bet. Let me try this out. Did that for 2 years. I'm like, something still ain't working. I went her. Nigga, I ain't never just stopped.
Yeah.
Just stop, bro. Just stop, dog. Stop. Process it. Heal from it. Reflect on yourself. Stop. And so I stopped after my last, you heard me, I stopped. And this is the longest
correct me if I'm wrong. I think you said you made a statement about like you never heal.
Yeah.
Something in line with that. What did you?
The concept, the sentiment of healing, I think it's told to us. Healing is a journey, bro. Like you never. It's a ever. Yeah. Because how can you say you heal? There's things you're gonna experience that you don't even know what that pain feels like. Right. So we never heal. You know what I'm saying? You're. I say in my song "Misunderstood." I used to say I'm healed, but I'm paraphrasing my own lyrics. It's crazy. I used to say I'm healed, but it's not about arriving. It's about healing. It's about freeing your inner child to make them proud and make them smile. You don't heal, bro. You return to yourself. Because we've been taught we lost. You're not lost. You're just fractured. You just in discovery mode. All these things that we taught. We adopt those things. So I had to stop, and it ain't about being healed, because then you run to that. If healing, if to be healed is a destination, someone's gonna run to it, and you're still gonna skip over some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to reach that destination. If they told you it's a destination, you heard me? No, it's a journey, man. It's an everlasting journey, and I'm healthier. You know what I'm saying? I'm the healthiest that I've ever been. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like once you heal, if the idea of being healed is it, well. Once you heal, what's opposite of that? You can only die from there. Like you only accept wherever you are and just be that until you die. There's experiences I've never experienced before. I don't know what it feels like to be a father. So I can't say I'm here. I don't know what it feels like to be. Well, I've been a father before. I haven't never been. I don't have any biological kids. Yeah. I've raised them before. But there's things as men and even as women that we'll experience that we've never experienced, man. Like, don't let the world put on you these inferiority complexes and have you questioning yourself. Anything that has you questioning yourself too much. Then it's crazy because like, damn, but. You just talk about questions, but here's the thing. If you listen, you know. Yeah. You heard me? Like you know. Yeah. You know. Your body will tell you. Your energy will tell you. Like you know. You know where you shouldn't be. You know you shouldn't. But we are given all these different channels to speak through and to have us question ourselves to where you can question yourself so long. I knew I should have just stopped and processed a long time ago. And I was waiting for permission from somebody other than myself. Why do I need permission?
Was it like an external validation, or you? Yeah, it's like lack of a better word.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying, and like I said, I'm from relationship. I'm proposing to women that I'm like, do you love me? Yeah, I love you. Okay, you want to get married? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm finna. And one, I think I know that in every relationship that I was in. I'm in it 100% though. That goes back to that mentality. But it's like, lovelessness brought me here though. I'm not hurt by my own will and my own choice and as a healthier version of myself. That's where I should be making those decisions from. Yeah. The healthier version of myself, not the lack, not the end of the loneliness, not the fear of being alone, the fear of missing out on something. And a lot of men, we make those decisions and we mess up. I learned that self-discipline is the highest form of self-love, and I practice that every day. And the reason I say practice is because again, it's this pressure it's a challenge, bro. Like I'm not perfect at it every day. There's some days I'm weak as hell.
I heard Nuri Muhammad say that.
Yeah, Derek Muhammad.
Yeah, Nuri Muhammad.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I heard him say that in the interview.
Yeah, so like I practice, bro. All this is a practice, you know what I mean? So, and that's just the energy I want to give off, not this complex energy of like, oh, I'm up here and you down there. Nah, bro, we on the same journey. I may be further up, you may be right here, you may be all the same thing.
But you said one of the same songs, I believe, misunderstood. You said evolve or repeat.
Yeah.
And going through those relationships, it sounds like you part of that evolution and evolving was accountability and self-reflection. What's that next step as you continue to grow and potentially look for your next partner, wife, want children, and etc.?
It's always going to be evolve or repeat. That's just the overarching message, and actually that's something that stuck with me from just my previous journey. But it's that, man, and it's just being a communicator, being a messenger. I think that's where I'm at now. As I'm experiencing, I'm also being a messenger to the others. You know what I mean? It's about the children, man. It's all about the youth. You know, because if we don't be like them, we won't see heaven anyways. So it's about the children, man, and us being tapped into who we are, us getting out this matrix of just society, you know what I mean, and us just being great humans, bro. Like that's what we are. You know, we not a body with a soul. We a soul with a body. So tending to my soul. You know what I mean, and encouraging that same message for everybody else. I think that's why I'm here, and that will be my legacy, though. That's what I want it to be, rather. So
getting back to the music. As you continue to grow musically and express yourself, is it a challenge with all the life experiences that you have to want to make a certain type of music to inspire and encourage growth and all the different things that you speak about, but at the same time tying in that message to real situations that you've been through, whether it be shot, gang culture, and those different things? Because I only ask that because different artists say different things and why they make certain music, and I feel like you are controlling and intentional with the music that you make.
Yeah, no, I don't even write. I don't make music with the intentions of anything. Honestly, it's just therapy for me. I didn't even know people would like the music. You know what I'm saying? Like certain songs, I'm like, yeah, I like that. That's a journal entry, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wrote that in a journal and it turned into a song. Okay. So no, just being authentic, man. Just being authentic, being organic. I have a fan base that I love that I have. Yep. It happened organically, though. You know what I'm saying? Like was there a certain song or time where you were able to identify with your fan base? Nah, I didn't even know I had a fan. I didn't know that would happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be dope to get up here and present Ultimate Poise. Like I just knew, like, yeah, man, I knew that when I dropped this song, they was gonna go crazy. Like, nah, bro. But it could have been after a moment, after the song, where you're like, okay, they like this. This is helping me. I ain't gonna keep making just this, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't be knowing. You know what I'm saying? I went through a journey musically. Like when I stayed with the families and all that, I feel like I need to be Christian. So I would talk about Christian things. You hear me? And then as I evolved into more just omnis, you know what I'm saying? Like just my faith factor grew. I'm always gonna talk about God. You know, always. Like that's always gonna be the foundation of my music. But I've evolved. So you know. God is gonna always be my music, but I'm a storyteller too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a poet, but I used to try to put it all in a box. You know, you can find music of Steel Trill, Chris, all the type of stuff like that. And this was you, yeah. And I was 100% that though. I was telling you, I was locked in. But as I evolved, bro, I'm just a storyteller, man. And you know, music is the vehicle that we use, and frequency is the vehicle. And you know, we're gonna continue to make great music, not off of nothing. And we doing it all independent. We just selling out shows, tours, all independent. I've been offered deals and all those things, but I want to build it from the ground. You know what I'm saying? What's those challenges being an independent artist? Because me not being in that industry, I hear artists be like, well, I might get signed, deal might be best for them, but what's the challenge and the difference for you? The landscape of record labels and stuff changing, bro. Like everything's DIY now. You know what I mean? So everything's DIY. So if you're a DIY person, you are in a great position to do music. You know what I mean? And building fan bases, building everything organically, you know, touring and all that. Like that's really it. And trusting your music, trusting your sound. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not forcing your sound on nobody, not trying to be like nobody. Be like yourself and be confident in what you do. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll work.
Was it difficult for you to make this album? Because I believe you said you had a conversation with your mom.
I've been writing this out my whole life, bro.
You had a conversation with your pops where you felt a certain way, like you wasn't there, and he felt differently about it, and you didn't realize till you got older. Like I can see why he felt the way he felt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and you said you was bleeding out in the music.
Yeah.
So for it to all come out the way it did, was it difficult, or was you already past the traumas of what you had went through to where this was like the icing on the cake for you?
50-50, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some of the traumas were new and some were old. Like, the same came from new trauma. You hear me? Like, misunderstood, that was new trauma. Like, you know, certain songs were new. And then the other ones were just things I processed, you know, over time. Like, Inner Child, 1515 Oak Grove, 1111 St. Louis, like all that was just older things. I never had the words to, you know, to say. I never even knew, like how to put it on paper, how to say it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So this album just flew out of me. And after my most recent awakening, that came through love and lovelessness, that's how I responded, because again I could have just crashed out in general, but I started expressing myself, and Sorry Miles Distracted was created, and this album has taken me all over places, and it's off of one album. This is my first album.
Yeah.
Everything I was doing was just it was just ego, vanity, and a little lostness, and talent exhibitions. But this is my first album for real, and I finished my book. My book is called Sit Yourself Down as well. You know what I mean? So we're gonna release that, and we're looking at doing an international tour next year, all off of one album. Did you like envision this off this album?
No, I know you said like y'all like that. Like,
again, when people come to the shows, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to say I'll be looking like damn, like how y'all get her, but
it's a surprise. Not a surprise.
Not a surprise. It's God being God, bro.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, man, right? Like let God be God. Like let God wow you. The reason why God can't wow you because you think you know everything, and I don't know everything. When I realized what I don't know, that's when I started to know, right? Like let God wow you, man. God is still in the wowing business. I believe.
Last two questions before we let you get out of here. What would you tell your younger self, and who else do you think would be good on a podcast? You think enjoy being here in this space, be a good interview with us?
What I tell my younger self? I would say, you are where you're supposed to be. I'm talking about in my darkest times, I would say that to myself, because it don't feel like that when you're in it. You know what I'm saying? You're doing everything you can to get out of that place, but all of it is to get you to. One of my favorite movies is Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know if you ever seen it. Yeah. He only knew the answers because of what he'd been through. You know what I mean? So that's my philosophy. Like you everything you need is inside of you.
That's a word.
Yeah.
One more question. I know you was real close to your grandma. Obviously, she just transitioned not too long ago, and probably that had a profound effect on you. You didn't obviously disclose too much. Obviously, that's close to your home, but I just want to know, give us something that she spoke to you that you still carry with you from childhood to adulthood, whenever, that you still carry with you right now.
The people need a leader. She always said that. My grandma was a leader. I'm talking about like in a community. I'm talking about the strong. She like a tornado, like a hurricane, category 5. Like her energy. The people need a leader. And what's crazy is Congresswoman Lee told me the same thing. We was in D.C. and on Capitol Hill, and we was going through the tunnel. And I asked her, like, why did you get into politics? She said, the people put me here. She was like, the people need a leader. You know what I'm saying? And so I take that for real. Like, I'm a leader for sure. That's one thing I'm confident on. Like, I'm not a leader because I'm not a leader because I say it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think they're leaders, but they don't have influence. Ain't nobody following them, so you're not a leader. You're just taking a walk. You're just walking by yourself. But I got influence. Like I know that what I say, I know that as long as people not fighting it, it'll happen naturally that something's gonna resonate. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I take very seriously is leading. You know what I'm saying? Even in the good book, it talks about creating disciples. But you gotta disciple yourself. You gotta discipline yourself first. And if you can't lead you, nobody's gonna follow you.
Amen.
As a man, if you can't lead you, you can't expect a woman to follow you. If you can't create space for yourself, you shouldn't want nobody in that space. Like, you can't be upset that people are not responding to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta look at ourselves like environments. Like you a man, but you are an environment, and people react to environments. So I'm an environment, and so I have to work on what type of environment am I creating. So leadership is important to me. I studied Garvey, I studied Huey, I studied Fred, I studied Jeff Ford, I studied Seneca, I studied Napoleon, I studied Alexander the Great, I studied Jesus, all these different just great people that live here. And I know people will call me by my title. Oh, he a rapper, he a poet, I'm a leader, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to resonate.
AJ, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. Before anything, I respect the man. You feel what I'm saying? I respect the man before anything, and I appreciate you just jumping down on the podcast. Obviously, we just in the early stages, but this is gonna go a long way for us. Shannon Shorter, AJ McQueen, Dunlap.
Gratitude.
Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Tell the people where they can find you at, everything you got going, all your socials, everything what's upcoming, tour dates, anything that you want to plug.
Yeah, AJ the Great on all platforms. Well, on my website rather, AJ McQueen on social media. Like I said, a book is coming. The international tour is coming. I have a nonprofit organization called Writer's Block, so we in the community for over 10 years. It's a performing arts and literacy 501c3. We in the community. We serve the community through our free food program that we do. We do backpack drives, turkey drives, toy drives, creating safe spaces for artists to express themselves. We do that in the community. And the music, like we taking this all the way, you know what I'm saying? Like all the way. So, yeah.
Appreciate you, bro.
No, it's love.
Love, for sure, bro.
Yeah, no.
For sure, bro.
It was great. That was one of the best interviews I had in a long time, bro. And I've done a lot of interviews, but it's the intentionality behind the questions.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like an interview, it felt like more like conversation.
Yeah.
So that's why I respect it. I appreciate it.
Let's go. Let's love, appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.